Hello, I'm Joe from Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. We have a new line of acrylic. It's professional, we're very proud of it. It's just the best. It's called Mill Strength, which is an unusual name for acrylic. But rather than calling it professional, Mill Strength means it has all the pigment in it that it will hold. You couldn't get any more pigment in it than what it has. So we really like it. We also have, and have had for a long time, those of you that are acrylic painters may have used it, Joe's Prime, which I really, really like because it's a superior acrylic also. It's not a student grade, it's an intermediate grade. It's just below professional. And the difference is the amount of pigment in it. Well, I find that Joe's Prime has lots of pigment, works really well. But one way you can tell how much pigment is in it is by doing what we call a little pyramid. If you will take a color such as, this is ultramarine blue light, beautiful color, and it's close to this light blue primary right here. And this is the fully professional, fully mill strength, loaded with pigment. And oh, by the way, before I get there though, I wanted to show you this. This is a piece of plastic off of a roll from a hardware supply, 20 mil, very inexpensive. And you tape this to your table instead of using a palette. Those of you who, and then in the evening, if you still have paint left, you can leave it on there and cover it with saran wrap. Take it off the next morning and it works just fine. And I'm going to show you how it ends up here shortly. Anyhow, I'm going to take the mill strength and I'm going to make a little pyramid. Look at that. It looks like a blue chocolate kiss, doesn't it? From Hershey's. Now I'm going to pick up the light blue primary and I'm going to attempt to do the same thing right there. Come on, I'm not doing too good. But you can see it's not holding quite as good as this one. And this is going to flatten out even a little more because it doesn't have quite the pigment in it that this one does, the mill strength. And most all of these will do exactly the same thing I've just done right here. I use a lot of cadmium orange hue because it really is about a value of 5 on a value scale of 1 to 10. And so I will give my canvas or my board a coat of gesso and then a coat of this, and it's very, very rich. It also stands up very good, but not like this one, which is not orange but red, and I should have picked up the orange, but anyhow, see if that'll stay. Look at that. That's the difference in professional acrylic and a mid-level acrylic. Both work great. I'm going to show you in just a minute how we can use these to see the difference in them. I've added a couple of colors to this. I've added this. It's actually a liquid acrylic to show you what happens when you put a liquid out. It just kind of goes, you can see all the way down. So here we have full strength, full strength, full strength, mid strength, and the liquid acrylic, so you can see what they do. I kind of got in a hurry and I added a little bit of this red acrylic. It's such a fun way to paint with acrylic because if you mess up, you simply come back and paint over it. And this is a American Journey Golden Fleece brush. Acrylic is a watercolor. And as long as you clean your brushes well after you've used them, you won't have a problem. Because acrylics do build up in the bristles of the brush if you don't really clean them. See, in generally speaking, in painting, in landscapes, we think of the foreground being warm, the background being cool, and we think of the foreground as being rough and the background being smooth. So we have a pine tree here, big pine tree right in the front. You can see the bark, you can see the roughness of it. But if you move it back a couple of 100 yards, it's smooth now. Also, things in the foreground are warm. They have warm colors like the reds, the yellows, things in a fire, and things in the background are cool like the blues. With a snow scene, that's just the opposite. Things in the foreground are cool and things in the background are warm. And I'll show you how this works. This is quinacridone gold in Air Professional color. And I'm simply going to come in here and put in some of this background color. And I'm being fairly careful because I have a little village is what I have. Just like that. See how simple this is? Already beginning to come to life in here. And now I'm going to pick up a smaller brush and I'm going to add a little bit of blue to this quinacridone. And this is just ultramarine blue here, right out of that. And I'm going to put in a couple of little darker trees while that is still a little damp. There we go. As Bob Ross would have said, these are happy little trees. Happy little trees. And now I'll put in the sky. I'm going to use this darker color that I have here, the ultramarine, and I'm going to add some more of this red, a little red to it to make it darker. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm carefully going to come in here and paint around these edges. See if I can't make that darker. There we go. Boy, it's almost black. I'm using water as my medium today. I could be using a retarder. Now that I'm going to pick up some more of this quinacridone gold and do that edge with it and over here, so that when I finish the edge will be the same down as the rest of the painting will be over here. Now I'm going to take my smaller brush and I'm going to finish this house right back here. And we have to decide where the light's coming from. I haven't done that. There we have a little chimney, and we'll put another little chimney right there. This one has to have a red chimney too, because we need red in the wintertime when we're doing snow scenes. While all that's drying, I'm going to come in here, and the light's going to be coming this way. So that means this side is in dark. Even though this is a red color I'm putting on it, it's a darker red. Okay, now we have that little area built up. We can come up here to this church, put some shadows in the church. We know the light's coming this way. That means this steeple's throwing a shadow all the way across, just like that. That means there's going to be a little shadow right in there, and to break that up. And this one, the shadow comes that way. And this one, the shadow comes this way on this roof. I always try to decide where the light's coming from before I get into my painting. I have my little white paint bowl over here, and I'm going to pick up some of that thick white paint and put this steeple back in here if I can without making a mess. And down here we have snow, the white, and the where snow has laid up in the windows. And I'm going to put an evergreen tree that actually comes all the way up into here. And it's going to make that house stand out. Just like that. And we'll put another one there, because you have to have more than one. We know the light's coming this way. We know that shadow's going to be that way. That one's going to be that way. This is going to be shadowed right in there. That's going to have a shadow and a shadow through there. There we go. And then a shadow on this bank coming across here. And we'll pick up some water and pull it down like that, because that's the way it comes. Try to make it look like a snowbank anyhow. And we'll imagine this one comes down from a shadow there. Right over here, this has a shadow on it. This is shadowed right in here. And we put the fence in there. Like that. And I think we're about to get there. We've got to pull some darker stuff in the way of evergreen. Need just a little darker stuff right in here. Little fence comes right around there. And there's a fence that comes down through here. Have to have a little bit of dirt here where somebody's traveled through there. And when that dries, we'll put the little fence in. And now we got to put a few little trees back here with a little rigger. Okay, here we go with a couple of trees that come way up there. Look at there, we're going to have to make them white back there, and that's going to work good. I'm simply putting white trees in here against the dark background and dark trees against the light background so that they work. A little bit of fence post over there, a little bit of fence post over here. This farmer needed glasses because he didn't get all these fence posts straight, and certainly the rails are not straight. So there they are. And these need to be a little bit stronger right over here. There we go. Kind of a directional thing to lead us in. I see one tree that I haven't put in, and it goes all the way from down in here up. We need these windows straightened up just a little bit. Put a little dark stuff on that chimney, a little dark stuff on that side. And we've got to paint the sides that we didn't do yet. And I think we have them there. And now we'll spatter a little bit of snow on it. And this is watercolor because I'm going to spray this anyhow and fix it with a fixative. Our little people didn't get the little people in yet. And here she is with him, walking toward the house. Little shadow. Now then, when it dries, and it's going to be dry in just a minute, we would take it outside and give it a coat of archival varnish. This is by Golden, and it's actually my favorite. Give it a coat, let it dry for about an hour, then give it another coat. It's a matte, it's called satin finish, and it gives you a really nice finish. And it protects it. And I do the same thing with my watercolors. I give them a coat or two of fixative first, and then give it a coat of varnish over that. And then it's all done.